Ladies and gentlemen, we've been waiting for this for a very long time. It's the last race finally of yet another thrilling season here in F1 Total Division 1 Season 16, as you can see from the title, round number 12 here in Monza. The final race of yet another championship battle between Felix One and Kart Tracer. They've been fighting so many seasons for their championships, and the most recent one was Kart Tracer's 5th title in his career. Felix is still at 4, but there is still a title yet to be decided today, both in the drivers and in the constructors championships. Because in the drivers, Kart Tracer is leading on 139 points. Felix is just behind him with 125 points. That is a 14 points gap between Kart Tracer in the lead and Felix in P2. That's gonna be quite a stretch for Felix if he wants to win this title. He's gonna have to gain lots, and I mean lots of points on his main rival today. But we know league racing, anything is possible. We've seen probably one of the most unpredictable things last week in Brazil. An absolutely unexpected wheel issue turns out to be a wheel issue for Kart Tracer at the last laps of the race. Drops him almost outside of the points, and Felix was fighting for the win, eventually ending up P2 with a brilliant photo finish with PC Willy, who took the win last week in Brazil. He's not racing today, but he took away from Felix those crucial 7 points more between P1 and P2, which leaves the gap now at 14 points. If anything goes terribly wrong for Kart Racer and Felix is able to maximize today, he will finally win another championship. He will win his 5th championship in his career and finally be equal with Kart once again. But let's not forget the constructors, because it's actually even closer than the drivers, because we got 3 teams who could become constructors champions today. We've got Mercedes in the lead, 197 points. Ferrari is in P2 with 184 points. That's a 13 points gap between Mercedes and Ferrari. Haas is just 1 point behind Ferrari. Haas is in P3 and is 14 points from Mercedes in the lead. So we've got 3 teams closer than ever that could become champions today, and Mercedes, to be honest, looks to be the favorite. We got both drivers, Kart Tracer and Sean Racing. Haas and Ferrari just down to 1 driver. Alex in the Haas is missing, Jeremy in the Ferrari is missing, so is Sully. So neither of Ferrari's main drivers are racing today at Ferrari's home track, the home of the Tifosi at Monza. Sully, the Italian driver for the Italian team in Ferrari, not racing. He's been replaced by Tom today. So yeah, I mean, the gap between Felix's team and Kart Tracer's team, Haas and Mercedes, is still 14 points, which is just the same as the drivers. But you know, with the constructors, it's more open, because usually there will be 2 cars. There's only 2 cars for Mercedes, but you know, still, lots of things could happen. I've been reported that the weather is all dry, and that's to be expected around Monza. We don't usually see a lot of rain. It did rain sometimes, very rarely, but it did. But that's not gonna be the case today. Just good racing and very likely DRS fest and very long DRS trains. And actually, we are already seeing some DRS help between the 2 McLarens. We've got Phantom Fox just ahead of his teammate Edwin. Edwin is taking the slipstream from his teammate, and they are both on their hot laps, so they are both pushing, but Edwin will look forward to have a better lap time overall, because he will have less air ahead of him. And never mind, because Phantom Fox just goes completely off the track, and he goes off to let Edwin through at the Variante della Roggia chicane. And look, I'm not gonna bother to actually open the map and look at the corner numbers, because this is one of the tracks where there are actually names for the corners, and obviously I'm Italian, I could not know the corner names in Monza, and Edwin just completely wastes the slipstream from his teammate because he invalidates. So that's not a good start for the McLarens already here in qualifying. We'll see if Fancy Fox has enough fuel for another lap. We'll see if Edwin does as well. But I don't think, well, he's using his energy, so he's gonna be right back into the pits. He's not. Maybe he will look forward to give a slipstream to Phantom instead, who is gonna start the lap right now as he goes from the exit of Parabolica on the main straight to start his first lap of the session. DRS enable a very, very long straight here and an extremely hard braking zone reaching 343 kilometers per hour before being absolutely brave on the brakes for the first braking zone for the chicane Variante del Rettifilo to be exact. And we all know how chaotic that chicane can be, especially on lap 1. That's where most of the overtakes will be, but there are also plenty of other corners where you can overtake and also other straights with DRS. So we expect a lot of racing here in Monza. Tom has disconnected, looks like, and he has retired. So just as we close off this game cycle on F1 24 to finally leave behind all of those bugs and glitches, we are still seeing one of those glitches today. Tom disconnects and his car gets retired and he's not going to be able to settle up here in qualifying. Finally, we will start our new season on F1 25 in just a few weeks, actually, at the end of May. Games coming out on the 30th of May, 27th if you pre-order the Iconic Edition. Gives you 3 days early access. So yeah, one of those bugs striking once again. And Fancy Fox, even with the slipstream of his teammate, cannot qualify ahead of Alwise. And well, Ashrik is 2.9 seconds off of the pace. And I don't want to judge him. I don't want to believe that's his pace. We believe it's not. And if that's the case, Fancy Fox has the slowest lap time for now, if Ashrik eventually did make a mistake. So even with the slipstream, not really getting the speed or the advantage that he needed. And we got Alda Selic reserving for AlphaTauri, which to all effects is an Italian team as well. It just comes back from the older days back when it was Toro Rosso, and or should I say Toro Rosso, because that could not sound more Italian. So yeah, Red Bull's junior team has always been Italian in the past, still is today, just under a different name. So yeah, to all effects, a home race for this team as well. But obviously, everyone remembers Monza for being the home of the Tifosi, the home of the Ferrari fans. And we've just seen how crazy they go when Ferrari wins. I mean, we've seen that with Leclerc last year in Monza. And about Ferrari winning in Monza, you might remember season 14 in Division 2 in here. It was the first season we did on F1 24. Division 2, it was me and Cuco racing for Ferrari, and we are two Italians. We were racing for Ferrari, an Italian team, and at the Monza race that was in that season, we actually got a 1-2 with Cuco winning and me just behind. So it was an Italian 1-2, two Italian drivers for Ferrari and Monza. Just absolutely a special moment. And the Italian glory just doesn't end, because we're about to end season 16 of Division 2 as well. Next week, that's going to be on Wednesday. And Edwin is leading the championship and I am just behind. And mathematically, either only me or Edwin can be drivers champions. So either way, it's going to be a Ferrari drivers championship that's going to be decided in Monza. And we actually won the constructors as well, with a few races of advantage before the season ends. So Ferrari is already constructors champion, and no matter what, a Ferrari driver will be world champion. So yeah, that's Italian dominance in Division 2, I guess. And well, to be honest, I'm just yapping about this stuff because there's not really that much going on here in qualifying. Catracer is having some issues with his internet or with his force feedback, it looks like. But I think it's actually connection issues at the moment. He's just trying to join the lobby, but sometimes he gets kicked. We see how that goes. But in the meanwhile, Edwin is pushing for another lap to make up for his previous lap that was invalidated, and now he's at the straight just before Ascari chicane, and he starts sector 3 with this extremely fast chicane. It is a chicane Stuart effect, but it is probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest chicane of the calendar. He just steer and oh, there we go. The F124 glitches continue once again. Now Car Chaser has been disconnected, and now he as well has been retired, and this could be an absolutely deciding moment for the championship. Granted, it's only qualifying, there's still a long race to go with a lot of things that could happen, and it wouldn't be the first time that we see Car Chaser going to the top, coming from the back of the field. But he's been retired, and he's gonna start this race here in last, with potentially his rival starting on pole position with a 19.166, and Edwin just behind, not very far either, just 2/10 it looks like. We got Shamul as well, Car Chaser's teammate, who is pushing through Curva Grande, the very long turn 3, as he finishes sector 1 with not an improvement, down by 8 thousandths, and now he goes around Variante della Roggia, taking all of that curb both on the inside and on the outside, and now we go through Lesmo 1, careful for track limits on the exit, and now into Lesmo 2, another very fast 90-degree right-hander coming up, and it looks to be very nicely executed from this Scottish driver in the Mercedes as he finishes sector 2, actually not improving, never mind, I retreat what I said because he's down by 20 thousandths of a second. But it still looks to be very fast, even through Ascari. So now it is just down to Parabolica, 1 corner to go. And he stays in the middle of the track for some reason before turning in again to the outside to get the perfect racing line. Is he going back to the pits? He's not. He's still trying to finish this up. He actually improves. He jumps Jonathan, goes up to P3, improving by just 67 thousandths of a second. And it looks like we're seeing like many disconnects because Car Chaser has been retired, Tom has been retired, Fanza Fox is disconnecting, he's not been retired yet. Just seeing many disconnection issues across the field, looks like. And for how much it would be a shame, Felix maybe would be secretly hoping, he will secretly be happy actually that this is happening, because it gives him a lot more of a chance. But on the downside, like ideally, what would Felix would hope from this race is that Car Chaser somehow DNFs. The thing is, we're 11 drivers today, so ooh, Arda with a massive moment coming out of Lesmo 2. But I was saying, if we do get DNFs, we're 11 drivers. If Car Chaser is the second driver to DNF, he's still gonna be 10th. He's still gonna gain a point. Granted, it's not much, but still 1 point. Still 1 point on the board that still could very much play a part in Felix's championship ambitions. So if Felix wants to hope that Car Chaser crashes out from the race, he also needs to hope that he crashes out very early. We might see some lap 1 crash fest, we don't know. We're actually very used to see common crashes. Lap 1, turn 1, just a classic in league racing around Monza. But in the meanwhile, I didn't mention Arda Static improved up to P2, improves by half a second actually. A little bit over 5 tenths, jumps Edwin, and is currently in P2, 190 thousandths of a second from Felix, to be exact. And at the moment, no one is pushing. So it looks to be very calm, at least here in qualifying. Can't say the same about the race, but if we do get like a very calm and collected race around Monza, when a championship is being decided, it will kind of kill the mood, I'm not gonna lie. But I still do hope we got some funny moments, to say the least. Some of the older drivers, well, not so old drivers, but one of the memes we've actually had at Monza, it involves Felix and Jonathan and some ancient and very sketchy bump drafting techniques. And I'm not gonna go further, I'm not gonna elaborate further on that. Those who know, who know. I mean, those who know, they know. So they don't need me to explain it. But anyway, let's focus on qualifying, because 2 minutes are left on the clock. Felix, with his banker lap, with his first lap ever of this session, is still provisionally on pole position. Again, a 119.166 that hasn't been beaten once by any driver in here, but now everyone is on their outlaps to try and set their last run here in qualifying, to try and have another chance to start from the front row. If Felix starts at the front, he might actually fear to getting rear-ended in turn 1 on lap 1. But Cal Chaser was gonna start at the back. He's gonna have to worry about not crashing into the cars ahead. So it's a double challenge for both of them, different challenges. But Cal Chaser has a little bit more control over that compared to Felix. But now we go on board for a lap here on Monza with Felix as he starts on the main straight. DRS enabled and bowling some overtake, and he reaches a top speed of 343 km per hour before braking hard for turn 1 and stays in third gear and flicks his steering wheel to the right and then to the left, and that's Variante del Rettifilo, the first chicane done. And now we go flat out into Curva Grande, turn 3, stay on the inside as much as possible, and we're gonna see an improvement by just 0.08 of a second. But now we go through Variante della Roggia, stay in fourth gear, and that's a very, very nice line on the curbs. And now for two right-hander 90 degrees, that's Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2 for you, both in fifth gear. And that looks like a very, very nice line for Felix, carrying lots of speed through the corner, burning some overtake. DRS is enabled once again. We finish sector 2 with an improvement of 97,000 of a second. Fifth gear for Ascari, that's a left, right and left, very, very fast chicane, and the exit is crucial. Always in the meanwhile, finishes his qualifying, he improves up to before in jump Sean and is still almost 3 tenths from pole position, but Felix will still improve his time even further as he goes around Parabolica on the inside, then the outside, then the inside again, and across the line for Felix is gonna be a 119.097, an improvement by 69,000 of a second, and that's good enough for pole position. Sean improves up into P2 to 125 of a second. Faster, I mean slower than Felix. Anastatic stays in P3. Edwin, he's still pushing to the line. Will he finish his lap? He won't. He actually creeps the grass. Look at that. There is contact between Edwin and Jonathan. That was very weird across the line. But Jonathan, I think he made a jump on Edwin and goes up into P4. Always drops down to 6th. And Bazza gets into the pit lane. And that's the grid done for Monza. And it's Felix trying to gain as many points as possible. He needs to absolutely pull a masterclass of a race today, and starting on pole position, that's gonna be his best chance to do so, especially with his rival starting at the back of the grid. And there we go, the German driver on pole position with Sean 225 thousandths of a second slower, but it's still good enough to secure a spot on the front row. And that's what do you say, a first row seat, a first row ticket to try something in the turn 1. It doesn't always end well, but it's very common. Turn 1, lap 1, we see many overtakes and or crashes, but we see how it goes. Lada Selic starts in P3, Jonathan in P4, Edwin in P5, always in P6, Batok in P7, Phantom Fox P8, Acturik in P9, and then we've got Tom finishing the top 10, but with no lap time set, and Cultures as well, no lap time set, but that's P11, relatively last in this grid. And there we go, everything is set. We are ready again for one final round of racing on F124 for Division 1. 2 championships need to be decided today, and we are gonna watch out for those. Granted, it will very likely be something about DRS fest and just DRS swaps. So don't get me wrong, Monza still has a lot of racing. It's still a very viable track for wheel-to-wheel racing. There is, still a lot of strategy involved, especially with DRS and ERS management, which has been one of the main things for F1 24 and one of the things that just ruined the racing for me, if you ask me. And we think and hope that gets fixed on F1 25. Should be, but I guess we'll see. But we're just here right now for a final goodbye, and not really emotional goodbye. I think many of us are quite happy to leave this game behind. But it's just routine, just one final race, one final dance to finally settle this deal. 5 red lights, they are on, the drivers are ready, we are ready for the season finale here in Monza, and Felix goes off the track and Anderson is immediately into the wall. That's a very poor start from the vehicle driver, getting wheel spin on the start, and into the wall he goes, already with wind damage on lap 1. Sean has a look down the inside of Felix, who gets away very well, and there is some scrambling in the field. Cat is ready with a beautiful start up into P8. Felix maintains the lead. Sean was not able to finalize any sorts of move. Around Cooper Grande we go, and always overtakes Edwin for P4. We will see more moves or more overtakes through Variante della Roggia. Doesn't look like it. Bazzica almost had a look on the inside, but he stays behind. Tom, he's ghosting, so he's not actually racing, he's still on AI. Looks like to be disconnected, but I can't invite him because I don't have him added. I think he's gonna have to look for all the invite and try to accept that. But it looks to be very, very calm, although Sean is very close to Felix, just a little bit less than 2/10. But now we can see the tires, and it's mediums apart from 2 hards. The 2 McLaren boys are starting on the hards. The rest of the field is on the medium compound for this race. But now DRS will be enabled immediately from lap 2. Well, they're not gonna enable it now. They're gonna enable it on the straight after Lesmo 2. But now Sean already has a run on Felix, and it takes the inside line and gets a very, very easy pass on the Haas driver. Alasenek is immediately into the pits, and a very costly mistake on the start already ruins his chance of scoring any points. He needs to fix that damage, and those hards, I'm not sure if they're gonna last until the end. So now we're just gonna see how the rest of the field goes, how this rest of the race goes. And Tom is dropping from the DRS train, he's on AI, so is Axeric soon. He's very close to dropping out of it. He should still have it, just ever so slightly. There we go, yes, DRS enabled for the Williams driver, and a change for the lead between Felix and Sean, who almost went side by side through Ascari, but they backed out. So it looks again very, very calm. Not a lot of racing at the moment, just cruising around with DRS. They might be managing their tires, which could be crucial, especially the rears. With so much traction zones where it's absolutely vital to limit wheel spin, the rear tires could get worn out. And Sean sends it on the inside, and look at Jonathan and Edwin trying to look for a gap there. And Jonathan and Edwin go track and they lock wheels, and Jonathan spins into I don't know which car, but that's a very unfortunate incident for Jonathan. He locked wheels with Edwin, and that's the F1 24 contact model. Again, one of those things that we are leaving behind in this game. The tire contact model, just making both cars understeer. Into the gravel they went, and Jonathan, in rejoining the track, he lost the rear and spun into the side pod of I don't remember which car. But that was a damaged front wing, and we already have a DNF. He retired on track, doesn't want to go any further after only 3 laps. But now this means that if even if he catches the DNFs, he will still score points. So he's not gonna come out of this race with 0 points. At least one. At least one. Sean is defending the inside for Parabolic, and look at that, Felix looks to have the speed to go around the outside of that same corner, although it looks like they settled back, but now he's gonna use the DRS and the natural slipstream as well, and always might actually look for a gap in here. Felix now takes the inside line, and Sean defends the inside line, and not from Felix, but from Always, who still looks to be in one piece after the first chicane. So we're now down to 10 drivers, but only the top 7 are together in this DRS train. It's Felix, Sean, Always, Bazooka, Phantom Fox, Kart Racer, who is already up in Super 6, and Edwin. At this moment, Felix will gain 25, yeah, he would score 25 points. Kart Racer would score 8. Let's remember, Felix, he can't end on a tie. Kart Racer has the comeback on his side, so Felix needs to gain 15 points. If he gains 14, it's over. He's not gonna win. Oh, but look at that! While I was looking at the standings, Felix has dropped DRS from Sean, and this could be absolutely crucial, and Sean is trying to do the best he can, even burning the battery and pushing his car to the limit to try and stay into that 1 second gap, which could prove absolutely crucial, but he stayed in that gap just before starting Parabolica, so he's still safe, and he's still gonna gain on the straight. And he's blocking some overtake as well, but now he actually needs to defend from Always, who switches to the outside for the braking zone of turn 1, and let's see the Williams and the Mercedes going side by side, but actually Sean stays ahead. Bazooka defends from Phantom Fox. Edwin tries to chase Kart Racer, and now the gap has been somewhat reduced. Now I was saying Felix needs to gain 15 points, with 25 for Felix and 8 for Kart Racer. That's definitely enough. So if Felix wins the race, Kart Racer needs to finish the race in 5th or lower. If Felix wins and Kart Racer is in 5th, Felix will be champion. If Kart Racer is in 4th, he will not. And if Kart Racer is in P5 but with the fastest lap, Felix will actually be champion. And at the moment, I think Felix has the fastest lap actually. Yes, he does. 21.6. Already pushing on those mediums for the first stint. And Always tries to look for a gap once again. He does not want to be behind the Mercedes of Sean. He might have a chance to actually challenge for a win. I don't know if he actually has a win in his career. He definitely has some podiums, but I'm not sure about wins. Could this be the chance as Felix drops down to 3rd even? Being, oh, he Kart Racer with a massive set, look at that! That was a send from miles back. He sent it here in Monza, and he was sending it all the way from Milan into turn 1. An absolute... what a send, what a late send from Kart. And I am honestly surprised that no contact or no incidents were caused whatsoever, because that looked to be very, very dangerous and very, very sudden. But now Always has taken the lead of the race with the DRS exchange, but now he's going to be vulnerable. Sean and Felix could definitely have a run on him, and Felix definitely won't like to settle behind for anything less than P1. Through Ascari they go. Oh, Felix has a snap! Felix had a snap through Ascari, and that was close to an even greater mistake than if he hadn't controlled it, would have sent him into the wall. Now Edwin and Kart are fighting for position, and Kart drops down to 7th, just behind the McLaren. Phantom is very close to Bazooka. Tries to take the slipstream as well as the DRS. But we are seeing some moves. Yes, it is Felix down the inside for P2, and Sean leaves him so much space, braking so late. Now Bazooka actually tries to look for a gap, and Sean is losing DRS from Always, and this could be very crucial indeed. Felix is pushing He knows that he's losing the arrest, so he's now pushing for a move around the outside of Variante della Roggia, late on the brakes for Felix, and that's a very beautiful move, and he stays just 8 tenths behind. Sean tries to put Felix under pressure, showing up in his rear mirrors, looking up the inside of Lesmo 1, backs out of it. Now Felix will still have the arrest, he recovered some energy. And he's actually dropping out. By putting on the arrest, he's actually slightly dropped out. He just needs to push through Ascari to get back into it. And there we go. He immediately gains close to a tenth and a half, or even 2 tenths even. Now he has even the slipstream ahead. And Sean will be under attack by Bazooka soon, it looks like. Lap 7 out of 27. 20 laps to go here in Monza in Italy. And still a long way to go to finally decide this championship. Bazooka and Sean exchanging positions, as well as the two McLarens. And Edwin has a look on the inside of Sean, but stays in behind. Oh, there's contact! Contact between the two McLarens. But I don't think there's wing damage. I don't see any debris, or I don't see any wings flying. That's yellow flags for Aksharik, who has dropped it on the exit of Variante del Rettifilo. That's turn 1, or actually turn 2, I should say. Edwin has lost the arrest from Bazooka, and this is a crucial thing if he doesn't go back in it immediately. But it looks to, ooh, Bazooka slightly went off track limits around Lesmo 1, and if he hadn't controlled the car more, he could have been into the wall at very high speed. But nothing has happened. DRS is still enabled for all of these drivers. Now it's always in the lead. Felix trying to chase him. And Card looks to have a hard time. He's stuck in P7 and not really gaining anything. And if the results stay like this, Felix won't be champion, because he will not gain 15 points. Now he will gain even less because Card is up into P6. So if Felix is in P2, he's gonna lose this if Card is in P6. But if he goes up into P1, that's his championship secured, and we'll see just how well can Card drive through the field. Edwin again, he's losing the arrest to Bazooka this time around. It's amazing how Sean is actually dropped down so far behind. And oh, Felix onto the grass! A mistake from Felix as he goes on the grass at the exit of Variante della Roggia, and now he's being attacked by his main rival, and he went down all the way into P5, and Bazooka lost the arrest from Always. So this is gonna be extra work for Felix to try and recover as many places as possible and as quickly as he can. Maybe before or during the pit stop phase. Oh, look at that, Fantafox loses to have a better run on Bazooka at the exit of Ascari. Felix, he tries to take the slipstream, so does Fantafox, who is actually recovering some energy. We can see the red light blinking at the back. Now we go through Parabolica. Felix will need to get past these two as soon as possible. Edwin now has the arrest from Always. Bazooka is into the pits. That's the first pit stop for a medium runner in this Grand Prix. Now Felix looks to have a run on Fantafox. He has the overspeed and he takes the inside line, and that's Felix up into P3 now. He needs to chase Edwin and immediately after Always, who are on different compounds, and I think we're close to that phase where the hard tires could actually be faster than the medium tires. So let's watch out for that. Let's watch out for those lap times who could start dropping anytime soon for the mediums, and maybe an advantage for the McLaren could absolutely be crucial in its first stint of the race. If no safety car come out and if everything goes smoothly for their strategy, the McLaren boys could actually have a much faster strategy, because they will have the mediums at the end of the race. On paper, that's the fastest strategy. You have less fuel and you will be faster overall, so they can push even more on those mediums, unlike the rest of the field, who is somewhat managing a little bit more, and they will push with the hards later. It's going to be the opposite for the McLarens. So let's see how it plays off for them. But now Felix will have a run soon on Edwin. He just stays behind through Parabolica, and he knows that if he just stays behind and keeps it cool, he can get past him and always as well, and back in the lead. But we will see the pit stop phase as well, because an undercut or an overcut could absolutely be crucial in here. Felix is faster than Edwin, and he overtakes him on the straight. He has more straight line speed, whether we will slipstream or ERS or DRS or setup, we do not know. But what matters now is that Felix is up there in P2, chasing always for the lead, and we are already seeing pit stops for Sean and Action Rick, and this might be actually a sign the car could come in soon. It's already a pit stop for Mercedes, and it might be another pit stop for the other Mercedes soon. Let's see how that goes and how that turns out. Let's see where Bazooka comes out on track as well once the drivers ahead of him pit, because right now he's actually pulling quite an undercut on the drivers ahead, especially when this sub 5 is staying out for a few laps more. Compared to just the one immediately after Bazooka's pit stop. So we'll see how it goes. Sean, I think, is battering, yeah, the AI of Tom, who's just not racing at all. So he's still defending this lead. He has been leading this Grand Prix for quite a few laps now. But I do think we will see the pit stop phase very soon. What does Always do? Does he pit? He does. So that's again an undercut from a medium runner. Felix stays up, catches and gets a 10-second penalty, speeding in the pit lane. An absolutely unnecessary mistake from Catres, a 10-second penalty. And that could very much decide the fate of this race. A 10-second penalty that could have been absolutely avoided by Catres. There was no rush. And I mean absolutely no rush to send it in the pit lane. But these 10 seconds will come back at him and haunt him. And this could be the light at the end of the tunnel for Felix. I don't think he realized, unless he's listening to the stream, but once he knows, he's gonna be activated, he's gonna be on fire. He's gonna be locked in and focused to try and bring this win and championship home. This gives him a chance to do just that. And Catres is crashed! Or has he? I think that's a crash. I am lost for words. I am lost for words. I have no idea what has just happened, but this could actually be what decides the championship. What this means now, if Felix takes home a podium, let's think this through. Car Tracer is scoring 1 point. If Felix finishes P3, he gains 14 points, and that's not enough. So, if he finishes P2 or P1, so if he wins the race or finishes in P2, that's a championship decided. If he finishes P3 with the fastest lap, that's the championship one for him. But what has happened to Car Tracer? Because now this has made things for Felix a whole lot easier. I have absolutely no idea what happened. I didn't even see Car Tracer's car into the wall. I have no idea if it disconnected, retired on track, something. I don't know. But for Felix, this can only mean one thing. I have to bring this podium home. I have to bring this championship home. And everything has been absolutely made so much easier for him now. He just needs to hang on for 30 more laps. No mistakes, no stupid risks, No stupid chances. Just bring it home and take it easy, take it calmly. Take it calmly. Because that's what's gonna bring him home the title. And I am so lost for words right now. Oh, he has disconnected! And that's, once again, the F124 glitches just doing their parts. Just doing their part. I'm not gonna elaborate further on that, but I mean, just finally we're leaving this game for good, because a disconnect that causes a DNF beyond the driver's control is actually what decides the championship. I mean, even myself, Edwin was racing in Div2 last week in Brazil. He got disconnected and retired, and that's what allowed me to have another chance at the title. But the safety car is out, and this is it perfect timing for the McLarens? They are past the pit lane. Aldo's Eric has crashed. Aldo's car, it looks like. And that's the safety car out on track. Felix stays out on those hards. So does always, so does Sean. Bazaka does not. He pits for another set of mediums. And will McLaren get a free pit stop here? They should. Felix is 24 seconds behind Phantom Fox, so this could be a 1-2. All of a sudden, they are gonna pit on the mediums. Felix, we need to see if he chooses to stay on the hards or pit for mediums, because this could be absolutely crucial. Because if Felix gets screwed over by the McLarens, who at the moment have had absolutely perfect time with the safety car, they're gonna get a free pit stop. Well, actually, they need a pit stop, both of them. They are gonna double stack, so that's gonna allow Felix to make a jump on at least one of them. But let's remember, I mean, does he still have the fastest lap? He does. So theoretically, even if he finishes P3, it should be good, but we will see. The McLarens are in for a stop. So let's see, it's a double stack for McLaren. Felix is back into the pits. He goes on the mediums. And so do the hard runners who actually jumped the. I mean, they were over the pit lane when the safety car came out. So yeah, mediums are definitely the way to go now. But this is an absolutely free pit stop for McLaren. But I can't stress this enough. Kyle Tracer potentially losing out on his 6th title because of a disconnect and because of a retirement. I mean, disconnects can happen. It's just internet connection. We've all been there. It just happens randomly, and it's not even fault of the game most of the time. It is fault of the game when that disconnect causes a DNF and it just kicks you out of the race with no chance of being back in it, and you can do anything about it. And that might genuinely cost the championship to Kart Racer. And it just reinforces how much hatred we've been building up for this game that is F124, and that we thank God leaving behind. So anyway, the grid is now behind the safety car as a whole. The safety car is going around the Ascari chicane and it's in this lap. We are gonna have 10 laps of racing. Just 10 laps for Felix to bring this home easily. And we are gonna watch the McLarens restart this race. It's gonna be Edwin leading this restart after Parabolica. And he has gone just now on the exit and his teammate not really reacting to the best of restarts. But he's burning a lot more energy. Look at that, he's just gaining so much. Now Felix looks to have around. Will they go 3 wide? Actually, no, the McLaren of Francis Fox backs out. But it's Felix and Francis Fox immediately going side by side through turn 1. And they still go with wheel on the exit. And this little battering could actually make him lose the arrest from Edwin. Or we already know they won. They're just 6 tenths behind. And now he's 5 tenths. Francis Fox is still pushing there. And as much as Felix needs this championship, I don't think the McLarens are gonna give him an easy time battering this out. Those are gonna be his main rivals today. Not the rivals for the championship, but definitely the rivals for this race. Everything looks to be good. Actually, Kensama the only one who had dropped out of the train, so we got the 6 cars train. But after this 6, we're watching these 3. Maybe even 4 if Sean gets in the fight. Maybe even 5 or 6 if Always and Bazooka get in the fight. But at the moment, this looks to be the closest fight. McLaren and Haas. There we go, DRS is enabled and will be enabled in this lap coming out of Lesmo 2. Right now it's only natural slipstream. And Always and Shannon always locking the wheels and going into the grass, and Fanta Fox is getting a 3 seconds penalty for corner cutting. Goes deep at turn 1, goes into the runoff, rejoins the track and gets a 3-second time penalty for not slowing down enough. The game deems it as a corner cut, and this has made things for Felix even easier. I mean, I think Phantom will try and get it removed in Stewart's room, so maybe that's what Felix needs to consider. Just do not take anything for granted and consider Phantom as a real P3 right behind him. Who has the fastest lap? Has he been beaten? No, it is still Felix. We can now see him going through Parabolica, and for the first time after the restart, DRS will be enabled on the main straight. Felix is there, he's there, goes to the outside, and that's a very easy pass, and now he goes up into the lead. A lead that could mean a championship winning. But let's see. It's not over until it's over. 7 more laps. And we'll see how the fate of this race goes. But we're just on the edge of our seats now for what could actually be such a big moment for Felix after so many years. So many seasons of struggling and grieving. This could finally be his redemption. It used to be 4-1 for Felix back when Felix won his 4th title. 4-1. That number, when from 4-1, he went to 4-5, with the 5 being Catrice's titles. That 6 could be out of the question today. We could see a 5-5 coming into our way at the end of these 27 laps, which are 6 more laps. Just over 10 minutes to see if this will actually come true. But one thing is for certain, Edwin and Phantom are not giving up, not even slightly. They're not in the championship, but they never give up in the races, and they're definitely gonna give him a hard time. It's a DRS battle. Edwin has it. Stays behind, backs out before Ascari. Now we start lap 22, and this could very much be a run for both McLarens. Look at that, Felix just has no speed without the DRS. Nothing he can do about it. Currently in P3, with the fastest lap, and with Phantom Fox penalty removed, it's still enough for Felix. Because that's 16 points for Felix and 1 for Catrice, so that's a 15-point gain. Felix will win by 1 point. If the fastest lap stays, he can stay on the podium anywhere he wants if the fastest lap stays. If it doesn't, that's only P2 or P1. And we got a DRS swap between the two McLarens. Now it's Phantom in the lead. Felix was in P1 on the last lap now and went down to P3 with the DRS. Can it turn it around this time? He went from P3 and he actually lets Sean pass. Stays behind on purpose. Now there's Sean and Phantom going side by side, and Felix, look at that, has a much better exit compared to Phantom Fox. Looking for that switchback. They still go wheel to wheel through Curva Grande. That's Felix has the speed around the outside to go past Phantom Fox, definitely to go past Sean, definitely as well. Sends it on the inside of Variante della Roggia. Goes back into P2 with a beautiful move, but now he needs to settle down a little bit more. He's recovering that energy. And Phantom is out of DRS. And so, no, Sean is not. Oh, it's gap to leader. Sorry, my mistake. So Phantom now actually still has DRS. Felix does too, but that's a bigger gap to Edwin compared to the one he has from Phantom just behind him. Let's see, 24 out of 27. From this lap, it's 4 to the end. Oh, and almost goes into the back of Edwin with a slight lockup on the front tires. Keeps it on track, nothing happened. And we're just waiting. Those could be the longest 4 laps Felix has ever driven. Wow, look at that, almost 3 wide into Ascari. Felix goes on the inside and overtakes Edwin, actually on track. He had no reason to do it, there was no need to risk it, but he still does it and still claims P1 on track. 1 down, now it's 3 to go. It's 3 laps that Felix can absolutely not wait for. Just 3 more laps and it will be done. One of the biggest turnarounds that I could have ever imagined could actually come true. Just needs to bring it home. Just needs to finalize it. Edwin with a little bit of a snap out of Lesmo 2. Still has DRS, still gaining, his teammate is just behind him. Two tenths now. 26 out of 27. The penultimate lap. DRS games are still being played for one final time. But Felix doesn't need to worry about that. Not right now, at the very least. A P2 is enough. But does he want a P2? Oh, there's a win as always! Always being spun around out of Variante della Roggia. And that's a shame, he was running in a good position for the points. But a mistake drops him down the order. And that's down to P7 for always. But we go back to the lead. Felix chooses to stay behind, but he gets jumped by the McLaren of Fox, and Felix actually taps Edwin on the rear, but now this is crucial. He will have DRS on the final lap. He will be behind. He will have a massive run on the main straight. He still has the fastest lap, so a P3 is still enough for Felix to be champion. And this is it. This is the final lap. A final lap that is so representative of a long and awaited title, a long journey, a long fight, a long research, a long period of grieving, of searching, that one final chance is about to come to an end. Look at that, they almost go 3 wide into Corvo Grande, banging wheels. Felix with the 2 McLarens. And they still battle. Felix looks for a gap on the inside. Now he looks inside of Lesmo 1, going side by side with Edwin, and he pulls it off, and Edwin has actually a massive oversteer, and he gets overtaken by Sean, and they make contact, and Felix now is up in 2P2, but it could, there was actually Fox, my mistake, but now this could finally be a one final overtake for Felix. Right now the championship he secured, he still has DRS, and he goes around Ascari for one final time, and behind the McLaren he sees finally a title that he has been grieving for so long. His last title was in season 10, back on F1 22, but with an overtake round the outside of Parabolica. Felix now finally makes his dream come true, and Felix, after so many seasons of grieving, he wins the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza, and after such a long wait, a long journey, he can celebrate that all night long, because he has finally equaled his rival back again, and it's 5 titles for Felix 1. After so many seasons and so much waiting, he has finally brought it home. A comeback that looked impossible has come true. It's a 5th title with Haas. And a period of starving, of being hungry for that trophy, for that title, for that glory, for that pride. But now he can definitely be proud about that one. He was saved by a miracle, but he took that miracle and took it so well. And he has finally done it. He has finally done it. Takes the full points as well, 26 laps, 26 points, sorry. The full points for Felix to finally close this championship in style. And he has done what could actually look impossible. What a way to close the F1 24 game cycle finally, for once and for all and for good. Felix will definitely close this for what has been a very difficult period for him. He can now finally be happy about that one, and he can close this game on a good note. He has done it. That's a 5-time world champion, ladies and gentlemen. That's 2 5 times world champions, ladies and gentlemen. It is now even. It is now tied once again, 5-5. Season 10 on F1 22 was his last championship. Kutcher has dominated F1 23 from season 11 to 13. He went up to 4, and they were even, 4-4. Then season 14 came, and Jeremy won on Felix. So the rivalry stopped for one season. Then season 15 came, and it was Kutcher's 5th. But now Felix has finally redeemed himself, and it's finally even with his main rival. We are finally 5-5 again. Well, not again, but it was 4-4, now it's 5-5. And in my opinion, this could absolutely be just the perfect setup to continue this rivalry and to settle this once again for F1 25, for season number 17. That's gonna be in just a few weeks. Well, not really a few weeks, in about a month. The game will come out in a few weeks. But he has redeemed himself. He can be very happy about that one. And now, what was a battle for the 5th has ended on both sides for the 5th. So now this only means one thing. It's a battle for the 6th. And that's coming soon. In June, we will start on the new game, a new season, maybe an old fight, an old rivalry, but we won't get tired of it. We will commentate, I will commentate it very happily. I hope to have a co-commentator in this, in the next championship fight, obviously. I've just been grieving. I've been grieving so much with not having a commentator for so long, apart from Phantom Fox, like briefly in that Hungary race after he crashed, lol. But yeah, that's the end of it. Finally, Division 1 is over on F1 24. Season 16 is over for Division 1 on F1 24. What a race, what a fight, what a title. Massive congratulations to Felix. It took him 2 miracles towards the end, but to take those 2 miracles, you still have to be there. And that's exactly what he did. So again, massive congratulations to Felix. What could have been yet another dominant season for Kart Racer. It wasn't that dominant, but it was a good fight nonetheless, just like we're used to. So, just before I close the stream, I'm gonna actually see the what's it called, the Constructors Championship, because I didn't think about this. So Haas gets 26 points. Haas 26, Mercedes 16. So that's a 10 points gain for Haas on Mercedes. So that's not enough. Ferrari has barely scored with some. So yeah, Felix is the drivers' champion for season 16, but Mercedes, Kart Racer's team, Kart Racer and Sean, will actually claim the Constructors' Championship for Mercedes. So congratulations to both of them, Kart Racer and Sean, your Constructors' Champions in Mercedes for season 16, and I think that's it. That's enough for me to have commentated this title fight once again, and it ended in such an unpredictable way. You know the saying, anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does, and this time it happened. So thank you for watching this stream. That was a wrap for season 16 in Division 1. Season 16 for Division 2 will have his wrap, will have his ending, his finale, still at Monza, Wednesday, usual time as always, that's 7:30 p.m. UK for you. But after that, it's gonna be the end of a very long and very frustrating game cycle. I can't stress this enough, I'm still gonna repeat that over and over, it's just how it is. So yeah, thank you for watching this stream. I hope to see you in the stream for Division 2. That's where I'll be driving, and maybe if I get a miracle, I can win the championship as well. If I get a miracle just as Felix's. But we'll see how it goes. But one thing for sure, you don't want to miss it. So I will expect you here on the YouTube stream on Wednesday for Monza in Division 2. So thank you for watching. We will see you back on F1 25, and have a good one.